Okay. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Thursday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Parish Construction and Roofing. Need North Peach? Go to Brock. Need a roof? Y'all Parish Construction and Roofing. Brock, remember the the free Friday night clinic for all high school football athletes returns again tomorrow. Uh, and of course, you need a roof. We'd love to help you out. Parish Construction Roof. Unique physique. Gosh, dog it. Sorry. You probably heard me. I was just a little off mic. Sorry about that. Brock, Parish, Unique Physique, Restored Motions. All our sponsors are linked in the description on YouTube and tagged on Facebook. All right. We'll say some good morning, y'all. John Emery, y'all know the news by now. Very disappointing. Tore his ACL at practice on Wednesday. Non-contact, I was told. Hate it for him. A guy who's persevered through an awful lot in the portal era where guys leave, but it's totally fine. Y'all know my feeling on that. But the opposite is also true, where it's admirable where someone stays and battles adversity. And John Emery's done that and made him easy to cheer for. And feel terrible for him. Wanted him to have a great senior season. Certainly got off to a great start personally, individually for him with how well he ran on Sunday. So some people have asked, could he get a seventh year? He could apply for a seventh year. He'd have to have maybe get granted like a medical hardship waiver, which he could. Does he want to play a seventh year? I don't know. I don't know why anybody would, but people do. So, we'll see what happens there. For LSU here in the short term, you're down to 3 scholarship running backs. So, against Nichols this weekend, my guess is you give Caden Durham the entire second half. You go run Josh Williams and Caleb Jackson in the first half, and you shut them down. And Caden Durham gets the entire second half, not only because you want to protect those guys from getting injured, but also because you need Caden Durham. Like you have 3 scholarship running backs. You got to get that kid ready to roll. And you hope that the Trey Holly situation gets rectified. So, the latest there is that they're expecting after the continuance, the next court date is scheduled for mid-September. So here, 10 to 14 days. So the hope is by the time that that date rolls around, this case with Trey Holly can get rectified and resolved, and he can rejoin the team. And if he does, that's a major help. Trey Holly's a different style of back than what you have. 5'7", he's small, shifty, fast. But he's Louisiana High School's all-time leading rusher. So had a really nice game, a breakout game against Army last year. So you'd love to get Trey Holly back. And you really need to get Trey Holly back at this point. So, okay, let's say some good morning, y'all. You know the drill. Fire away. Anything about anything. Hey, Abner Neal, good morning. Melody, sick to my stomach for John Emery. That just sucks so bad. I mean, just think about 6 years of your life, and to have lost the season to academics, to now have 2 ACL tears. Just COVID was in the middle of his career as well. Just Wendell Norman, good morning. Jacob Thompson, Spurge, what up? Damon, good morning. Daniel, what do you think? Do you think LSU's too thin at running back? Yes, they are. I can't remember a time. I think Drew might be awake. I can't remember a time where LSU had only 3 scholarship running backs. They've had times where they used 3. I remember Kevin Falk, Rondell Mealy, Kendall Cleveland. But it doesn't mean you only had 3 scholarship running backs on the roster. So, yeah, they're too thin, but you don't really have an option. The walk-on that would be the next man up would be Malachi Lane. Um, they have a bunch they have a bunch of excuse me, of walk-on running backs. Malachi Lane, um, is the guy we probably saw the most in fall camp, when they got to the threes. So I'm not saying that's an option you want to use, but it may be an option you have to use. I mean, you are a turned ankle, you know, a good ringing the bell away from being down to two guys. I mean, it's just, you got to get Trey Holly back. Trivia Carter, good morning. Brian Penn, good morning from Waterloo, Iowa. Hate to hear about Emery. Good guy. Hope and pray he can recover. Trying to get on an NFL team or try to get a medical. Yeah, I don't know what he'll do. And the really challenging thing about the NFL now is, remember the shelf life of a running back in the NFL. Usually see him fall off the cliff at 30. Most NFL players, the average NFL career is like 3.2 years anyway, or something like that. So now you're talking about a guy who is already older by that standard and will be coming off 2 ACLs. Like, I mean, someone may take a flyer, invite him to camp, but it's just hard to imagine, there being a career there. Tiger Diver, morning Scone. Do you think LSU would make the playoffs if they go 10-2, make the title game, and lose to be 10-3? So Tiger Diver, that's quite literally the scenario that I laid out on the post-game episode after the loss. Was guest on Locked On College Football and laid out that scenario. And I don't have a great answer to that. And it's unfortunate because the only path I see is a 10-2 regular season. Like, I don't think with a 3-loss regular season you're getting in. We've gone through these numbers a ton. And again, I'm not predicting this to happen, by the way. Like, I picked LSU this year to go 10-2, but I thought that included a win over USC. So, I mean, is it possible that they only lose one the rest of the way? Sure, it's possible. Is it likely? Probably not. You got warts and you got a tough schedule, and so probably not. But that's the question that I'm going to be fascinated to see. And the only answer, Tiger Diver, lie in the hands of the College Football Playoff Selection Committee. Because if LSU goes 11-1 the rest of or 10-1 the rest of the way, right? They finish 10-2. That means you would have marquee wins, like whichever game you lose, Ole Miss, Bama, A&M, Oklahoma, whatever. If you just lose one, that means you won the rest of them. It means you won at College Station. You beat Ole Miss or Bama. Mathematically, you would have had to beat one of them. Oklahoma, at Florida. So your resume would be plenty good enough at 10-2 to get in. But if you lose, let's say you go to the SEC championship game and lose to Georgia. Drew's awake. And you fall to 10-3. Like, I don't know how the committee is going to view that. Georgia, like, look at what happened to Georgia last year. Georgia was unequivocally one of the best 4 teams in the country. They were undefeated. They go to the SEC championship game and then lose to Alabama. And they knocked them out of the playoff. I mean, so do I feel great about a 10-2 team losing the SEC championship game, falling to 10-3 and being in? I do not. And that's where you're going to start to see, because that's going to happen to somebody, by the way. That's going to happen where it becomes a great disservice playing in the conference championship game. And then you start to ask the question, do you even want to play in a conference championship game? So then you ask the question, do we even have conference championship games? Which you shouldn't. There's no reason to have them to begin with. Which is something I've argued for years. I mean, conference championship games are nothing but a money grab. That's all they are. They were created as another piece of TV inventory to sell tickets to make money. And the SEC did it so successfully that everybody copied it. But the SEC existed for 60 years and crowned a champion before you had a conference championship game. So you don't need a conference championship game. Weston Weaver Mortimer, thanks for the insight into your life yesterday. I felt your pain on that cold plunge. It's not pain. It's awesome. So I did a day in the life Instagram story yesterday, starting with my cold plunge at 5:25 or 5:26 in the morning, all the way through the end of my day, which I finally hit a wall last night. It was like right at 11. I was like, I got to go to bed. So anyway, but yeah, so I just did a cold plunge a little while ago. So a cold plunge isn't painful, dude. It's awesome. That's one of the things that whenever I went through the whole Gary Brecka, all the stuff, that's one habit I've started that I think will stick forever. It's just amazing. Even when we were in Vegas, I didn't have my cold plunge, but I took cold showers every day. It's amazing how alert you feel, all the benefits. It just rushes oxygen through your body, forces you to breathe deeply. You just get over the instant discomfort and breathe and settle into it, and it's awesome. It really is amazing. Brian Williams, good morning. Jordan, if able to be back and physically healthy and mentally, would Emery be able to get a waiver? Probably. But I don't know. I mean, the NCAA would have to grant a 7th year, but probably because he only played in one game. Can a team add a transfer midseason? No. Once the semester starts, you cannot add anybody. Brett Guidry, good morning. Did we ever find out what tiebreakers will be for the SEC? We did, Brett. So the league announced them a couple of weeks back. It's what you'd expect. It's head-to-head. Then common opponent, a record against common opponents. Then it's like the winning percentage of your opponents. Let's see, head-to-head, record versus common opponents, record against highest placed common conference opponent in the conference standings, cumulative conference winning percentage of all conference opponents, capped relative total scoring margin against conference opponents, and then random draw. So one of the deep tiebreakers there is scoring margin in conference games. So incentivizing teams to blow teams out. Okay. Let me go stop Drew's backpack and all that sort of stuff. Or not his backpack. He's already had that, but like his music and all that sort of stuff. So here you go. Enjoy this little ditty.
Parish Construction and Roofing. At Parish, we've got you covered. From the top of your roof, all the way down. Parish Construction and Roofing. Parish built. Parish built. Parish built. From your hometown. ParishBuilt.com.
What are you doing? You want to come? Drew? Okay. Well, now he gone. All right. Please smash the like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. Brant, how rusty will Holly be? That's a fair question, Brant. But I don't really think that even matters, man. You need able bodies at this point. Dustin Balello, see you Saturday. All right, Dustin, we'll look forward to it, man. Yeah, man, we got Whiskey and Wine coming back. Looking forward to that for certain. Sorry, I missed a few here. Chance, how impressive was Aaron Burrell? Yeah, man. Saved a touchdown on the tackle. And follow me on Twitter. Tweeted before the game that it's Burrell, I think is how he says it. That he was the one, alternating kickoffs during pregame. So that was a little bit of a change. Trivia, needing us to stay in the game to get 400 yards and 4 Touchdown, stuff the stats. I need him and his ACLs to get out of the game. I would rather see Ricky Collins, see how he looks. Brian Wynn, Garrett Douglas, random question on the Hump Day intro. Are all the sporadic mic Hump Day manually inserted? Yeah. So Musso has those on buttons. So whenever I pause, he hits one. So yes, I know that's not all timed. Yeah. So he has all those things on a rotator button. So he hits it and it rotates. So Brian Wynn, good morning. Oh, sorry, I read that one. Patrick Burglass, good morning, Matt. Tough break for Emery. Hopefully Trey Holly's legal situation gets resolved. Amen to that. Let's see, Brant. Hope this early loss pays off with learning now rather than in November. Hope we can still get to 10 wins. Ole Miss game, man. It's all you're going to be 4-1 going into your bye. You play Ole Miss at home. You win that one. Everything is in front of you because you have a game to play with. Like, can you win at Arkansas? Yes. Can you win at A&M? Yes. I'm not saying I'm guaranteeing it. Can you open date? Can you beat Alabama and Baton Rouge? Yes. Can you win at Florida? Yes. Can you beat Vanderbilt? Yes. Can you beat Oklahoma? Yes. I'm not saying you're going to win all those games. I don't think you will. But can you? Like, is it possible? Yes. It's not like you got to go to Athens or go to Austin. I mean, it's manageable. It's not easy, but it's manageable. Hunter Eilers, good morning. Big Sleaze Gaming. Sports ball. Throw me the sports ball. Okay. Let's see. Dustin Bolello. All right. Callum Alexander, good morning. Brett, best pizza in Waterloo, Iowa is Basil Pizza. Trust me. I ate there 3 times a week when I lived there. You lived in Waterloo, Iowa. Wow. Brad David, good morning. Mark, good morning. Eric Wilder, during your time at fall camp, did we ever line up under center, especially now given our personnel? I'm shocked we didn't line up in power and run off tackle. Well, they don't have a fullback, first of all. So I don't know how you're going to line up in power when you don't have a fullback. It was an interesting conversation yesterday, too. Matt Flynn was on with Hester, and they were talking about that, about running out of the shotgun against out of under center. And it was interesting that Flynn said he didn't hate running out of shotgun. His point was, if you take a snap under center, you're still moving away from the line to hand off the ball. So his point was, what's really the difference if you catch the ball at a 4 or 5 yard shotgun, or if you turn and run back? Either way, you're still moving the ball away from the line. Hester had a good point. He said, as a running back, he'd rather have momentum toward the line as opposed to, like, in the shotgun, you're offset, right? So the quarterback is behind the center and the running back is to the side of the quarterback. Well, the running back's first step, instead of forward, is sideways. It's sideways to take the ball, then forward. So his point was he would rather be running forward as he takes the ball to carry his momentum forward. It was interesting. It was an interesting I thought it was interesting. I don't know if it directly answers your question, but I guess my point is I don't think it necessarily matters. I think we think of that too much. Ryan, good morning. Excited for the Saints season to start Sunday. Won the last 5 openers. LSU take notes. Hey, Rex, good morning. David Bass, maybe USC will win the Big Ten. LOL. It could. I think Ohio State will, but they could. Brett, time slows down in that cold plunge, doesn't it? It's like microwave minutes. No, Brett. So here's what I do. I post my podcast when I'm in the cold plunge. So I get up to my neck and I just hold my hands out with my phone. And so it takes my mind off of it and the time flies. So it's like I have to write out my tweet, my Facebook post, get all the links from Apple, Spotify, YouTube. So I post the Locked On links on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and my Instagram story. So that's what I do during the cold plunge. And by the time I finish all those, I usually, because I do it for 6 minutes. So I had a timer on my phone for 6 minutes. And so usually I'm around a minute 40, minute 30 left. And so then I go all the way submerged. I can put my head in and everything for the hands, head, everything in for those final 90 seconds. So, so no, man, I don't think it's like 3 or 4 big deep breaths, and then you just settle into the water. I don't know, man. I guess it's just gotten easier. Mark, good morning. Okay. Kelly Gross, JLF, good morning. Another day the Tigers are burning, it seems. What does that mean? Wayne Blanchard, good morning, Matt. Said to hear about Emery. Quentin Breakbill, good morning. Sure hate the news about Emery. Will the Tigers make it through the season with only 3 backs? I mean, Quinn, I'm not a savant, man. Like, I don't know if they'll make it through with 3 backs. I don't like the fact that they only have 3. I sure hope they get Trey Holly back. Brad, I watched your day in the life. Miss Judy seems like an awesome woman. Yeah, so that's Judy Martin Davis, aka Lady Jag, aka Mama. Everybody at work calls her Mama. So Lady Jag is the director of First Impression. She works the front desk at Guarantee. It's been there for 27 years. I don't want to shortchange her if I have it wrong, but she is one of a kind, to be sure. But yeah, so I'll walk in. Our key card lets us in the side door, but I make a point to walk through the front door every day to visit with Lady Jag. So, she'll fill my cup, and then as soon as the cup starts to overflow, I'm all right, that's enough. It's time to go now. All right, please smash the like button if you would, subscribe to the channel. Brian, Matt, is there a scenario where they celebrate the 25th anniversary of the 03 championship they invite Saban? I hope so. And I think that day will come, Brian. I would say if you want to comp, think about Paul Dietzel. Paul Dietzel was the coach of the 1958 champions and left LSU to go to Army. It didn't work out for him at Army. He then ended up at South Carolina. And the odd story is he had scheduled, when he was the coach at LSU, scheduled the game against South Carolina and ended up coaching South Carolina in that game in Baton Rouge. I don't think it went well for the Gamecocks. But anyway, Paul Dietzel came back to Baton Rouge and lived the rest of his life and was celebrated, and bygones be bygones and time passes. And I think the same thing will happen with Nick and should happen with Nick. He's the greatest coach ever. He's an amazing part of LSU's history. Everything that the LSU program is today, he lit that fuse, won the first championship in 45 years. Yes, I mean, he absolutely should be honored. And he's always spoken very highly of Baton Rouge, of LSU. I think we all know, as he said, look, he obviously had an amazing run at Alabama, the greatest ever. But deep down, I think there was part of him that regrets leaving LSU, certainly, but had to scratch the NFL itch. So I understand it, as we all did at the time. But yes, I think the day will come. And I'll tell you, when that day comes and if Nick comes back to be honored with that team, I'll certainly stand and applaud loudly. James McKinney, good morning. Is Will Campbell going to come tell us they're running the ball against Nichols? I don't know. Probably not. Ransom, Antoine, morning, Matt. I know it was first game, but who is I got to make a player on this LSU team on offense? I don't think I understand what you're asking. Like, when you have to make a play, who do you go to? Well, look at the final play, the 3rd and 8. I mean, the 3rd and 8 at the end of the game, they went to Kyron Lacey. I mean, I think he's your best offensive player, but we've talked about that all offseason. So they got to make an effort to push the ball to him more. Gorilla, good morning. Brent, good morning. Chandler, morning. I know it's silly. After opening failed 4th down, Nuss got popped. 3 players sprinted over to help him up, give an attaboy. Kelly plan's working, very optimistic. Gregory Gordy, Kerry Hughes going to Yankees Cubs Saturday at Wrigley. All right, Kerry, I'm a little jealous. I'll tell you this, I would rather see Yankees Cubs at Wrigley than LSU Nichols and Tiger Stadium. What was it exactly about the run fit that went wrong? I refuse to think Will and company didn't actually prepare for a fist fight. So, listen, I haven't gone back and watched an all 22 copy of the game. I don't have an all 22 copy of the game. I guess I can get one. But, I mean, there are things they did exceptionally well. I mean, they ran counter. Look, the play that John Emery, the 40-yard run by John Emery, was a counter play where Emery Jones was pulled from right tackle to left. Beautiful block. Will Campbell got to the second level, had a beautiful block. DJ Chester walled it off. John Emery didn't get touched on that play. It was beautifully done. You know, I know some of you heard me say this already, but the play, the 3rd and 1, the 3rd and 1 where John Emery got tackled for a loss and LSU went 3 and out, that wasn't on the offensive line. I mean, Kamorian Pimpton, the defensive end, just came right across his face. I mean, that was on your tight end. So, I don't know. I think you try not to be predictable by personnel, but you got to be able to do that effectively. Hi, baby. You want to say hi to Dad show? Drums. Come say hi to Dad show. Come say hi to Dad show.
Really?
Oh, my little boy.
Not for that show.
Oh, it's my little boy.
Not for that show.
We're going to get dressed and we're going to go for a ride in Daddy's car to New St. Lillian. Okay? Can you say hi?
Hi.
That was so sweet. Did you have such a good day yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah? Did you sleep so good last night? Are you trying to go play your drums? Are you trying to go play your drums again?
Yeah.
I know you are. You're trying to wiggle out of my lap. Do it about it. Okay, I love you. All right, we're going to get dressed in a minute, okay? Love you. Here you go. All right. Drew graced us with his presence for a few minutes. Or for a few seconds, I should say. Anyway. Jackson Warner, most optimistic date for Holly to be back. I mean, most optimistic. I mean, he's got his court date, they said mid-September. So I think realistically, if you could get him back for UCLA or South Alabama, I would think South Alabama would be the most optimistic. If you get him back for South Alabama, that's a game going into your open date, and then Ole Miss. I would hope. Dakota Lang, what cold plunge do you use? I bought a Nuvio. It's a chiller. So Nuvio, it's a box chiller. It's about $600, just full disclosure. But so I started cold plunging using ice. I'd go buy bags of ice and cold plunge, and I wanted to do that before I made an investment like that. I was like, let me make sure I'm actually going to do this. And I started either cold shower or cold plunge with ice like every day, and finally got to the point like I need something that's more efficient. So I bought the Nuvio cold plunge chiller. So I fill up the bathtub at night. So it chills about 3 degrees per hour. So I fill the bathtub up at night before I go to bed. I turn it on, and then it's wild because you see the temperature. Like you think that the water, like if you just turn on the cold faucet in your shower or your tub, you think that's cold. It's actually almost like 80 degrees. It's like 79 degrees. So it chills from 79 to 54. So the range that for cold plunge it's recommended is between like 50 and 59 degrees. Like there's no science that suggests being colder than 50 degrees does you any benefit. So, and 3 to 6 minutes, minimum 3, maximum of 6 is what the research shows. So I got to get going. Seth, liked your Insta story showing us your day. You should do a full vlog of your day. I don't think we have enough time to do that. Okay. I got to go. Sloan's first test was 20 points against that was not a bad defense, Joel. That's where we're just going to disagree right there. That's where you're wrong. USC was not a bad defense. They've dramatically improved. Because you could say the same thing. Well, then Lincoln Riley scored 20 points against a bad defense in LSU. LSU's defense dramatically improved. Jesse Brown is cornerback Alexander going to be a starter soon. Brian Kelly talked about it yesterday. I actually have a lot of info on that on Locked on LSU today. So we're finished here. Please go listen to or watch Locked on LSU. I'd appreciate that greatly. All right, I got to go. Y'all have an awesome day. Thanks so much for being here. We'll see you. Peace.